I call it an unrestricted low voltage contract. Okay. It's changed a little bit because of lighting. Okay. With the electricians, it used to be anything under 90 volt, our license would allow. My license that I took here in Georgia was for unrestricted. There's 4 different levels of licensing. So I can do any of that technology. So they have it for
Oh,
a general where you can just pull cable. That's it. Then they had an alarm license and they have a networking license. So with the alarm and stuff, you can do the cameras and alarm systems. With the networking, it's only for, server rack, network cabling, things like that. With the unrestricted, allows you to do all.
hey guys, and welcome to the Grow IT podcast. One of your hosts here, Trey King. And today we are very excited to have our guest, Mr. Jason Bair from Blue Sky Systems. And today we'll be diving into his story a little bit, as well as what it is his company does. And then, as always, some good engaging insights into the technology industry. So make sure to stick around for this one. But without further ado, Jason, welcome. Thanks for hopping on, man.
Hey, thank you for inviting me. It's very exciting.
Excellent. Jason, if you kindly would, just give us introduce yourself, and then, tell us a bit around your background and just a couple of snippets of your story.
Oh, okay. Um, I'm the owner of Blue Sky Systems. We're based out of North Atlanta area in Georgia. The My background is very extensive in different areas. Okay, so which kind of led me here. Okay, which is very interesting. In high school, my dad is a superintendent of electrical contractor. Okay, so after school every day, I would go and work at the warehouse for the electrical. On my days off, they would have me out in the field, working with all the other electricians. As soon as I graduated high school, the owner of that company put me through a 4-year apprenticeship program, which was schooling 2 nights a week, 4 hours a night. And then I graduated from that, but during the day, it's working. You to do 40 hours a week, and get that extensive. But luckily, it was a small company, but everybody there was very experienced. Okay, and it was family, and we worked as a team. So I got a lot of knowledge very quickly.
Awesome.
Yeah. So honestly, by the time I was graduating high school, the owner had already had me in a truck doing my own service calls. Okay. So yeah. So with schooling and everything like that over the next 4 years and the experience that we were already doing on all these projects, you become a master very quickly, through that program. So with that though, being young, I kind of moved on, to other companies. I was doing other things. And eventually I got to a point where I was always interested in computers. And right then was kind of when the Pentiums were kind of coming into play and things, So it was a huge transition right there for the computer industry. I ended up coming on as a manager of a computer store. Okay, at that point, and very quickly learning how to repair computers, things like that. From there, it drug into entrepreneurship in my own companies. Doing that, I moved into wholesale, ended up taking over, running a big wholesale company that came off the ground. The first year when I started in July, they were at about 100,000 a year in sales. We ended that year at 3.9 million.
Oh,
okay.
Gee.
Yeah.
The next year, what you call scalability. My word.
Right. Well, I brought on my customer base that I'd already had for the wholesale. I just didn't have the financing at that time to go. This company that came in, they had the access to the product, the access to finances. So it wasn't a problem. From there, let's do it. We quickly grew out of the space that we started in and had to move into a big warehouse space. But the next year we did 8.4 million. And from there, that's when the industry started dropping a little bit, as far as pricing. We did more volume, but we end up at 6.9 million the next year. So, that was, my background with that. From there, things, when you're younger, things become stagnant and you kind of move, So I ended up going to work for the company that was across the street, which was a Comcast contractor for cable TV and cable internet. So I ended up taking over as a project manager for them in one of their projects in Miami. And then from there, I got the low voltage bug. You know, I got into, okay, there's another side to this technology thing.
Yeah.
You know, managing these people and things. So when we had Hurricane Wilma and a bunch of those Hurricane Charlie and all them in 1 year here in Florida, I'm like, I'm done. I gotta get, I gotta, I gotta relocate somewhere where I'm not,
Yeah.
we're not out of power for 3 weeks, and you know, and got to do something different. So I literally was sitting on my front porch with some friends, and we pulled out a map, and we're like, where we want to go, and went, boom, Atlanta. You know, it's right in the center. It's a huge thing. So I made the transition, and from there I got into I got into satellite TV installs when I moved up. You know, just self, you know, as a contractor, just doing it myself, and then um, Wild Blue Internet with Dish Network ended up coming out at that time. Okay, it was just introducing. They were just turning on the transponders for the Georgia area and everything. So
Yeah.
I ended up getting into that, and that was huge because I was you had to be certified and everything else. I went through that whole program, and when it hit, it was nonstop. You know, they were just, it blew up. So I got a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of installation experience with that, and then you know, it just leads into cameras. It leads into whatever, you know, and I went to work for a few companies. Um, and I'm just one of those people, I don't like to answer for other people's excuses. Okay. And it seemed like that was always the case. So,
Mm.
you know, just my entrepreneurial spirit ended up transitioning into my own company. You know, my contacts through church and things were extensive. So a lot of business
Yeah.
owners. So it just kind of grew into, there was a few franchise companies that were in there when we started servicing all those franchises. So it just,
Franchises.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So
Geez, you've got quite a colorful background, man.
yeah.
You've done a lot.
Now now it's wild though, is we've really gotten to a place. So we're going on 15 years in business. I started in 2009, but
Yeah.
actually 16 now, going into 2025. But you know, now it's came to a point where I I don't let anybody make an excuse for me. You know,
Mm.
that was the one thing I got out of it. So from there, the manufacturers are starting to come to us now. The manufacturers are saying, "Oh, okay, you guys are here. You know, what can we provide for you to, or we're going to do this for you, and let's move it to the next level." So
Yeah.
that's kind of where things are right now.
Tell me, Jason, you've been at this for quite some time. Based on your expertise in your industry, what are like the current market trends, that you are picking up? What
It is
way?
advancing very much into
Yeah.
AI. Okay,
Yeah.
and there's also other advancing technologies as far as uh, so a perfect example. So in the camera industry,
Yep.
a lot of AI functionality is getting put into the products. That AI, you know, everybody has this inclination of what AI is going to take over the world, and all. It's not that. What it is, it puts analytics and heuristics into the software for these products, which just takes them to the next level. So a perfect example is on the cameras where they used to just be motion detection before, which basically the camera was detecting how many pixels were changing inside the view. Okay, and then within that variable, it would kick on a recording. Okay,
Mm. Mm.
now it's able actually to detect if there's a person there, an animal, a car. That's the AI function.
Wow.
So at this point, it's recording for that now instead of when the wind blows and the trees move, you
Yeah.
know, because you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
necessarily want that. Okay. So that's where AI has came into play with those. It's very much now our license plate cameras. Okay. It's able to adjust the lighting for the environment and all that through that AI sensing. Okay. For what's going on. And also adjust because on license plate cameras, the taillights on the vehicle a lot of times are
Yeah.
blind, you know, and blinded out to where you can't see the plate. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
with the AI now, it adjusts that all out real time. So it's able to see that plate no matter what at night, you know. So
That's next
those
level.
are right. That's where technology on that functionality is becoming useful, but not
Mm.
overwhelming to the point of taking over, you know, with
I
that.
think no, I'm just thinking up, if you don't want to latch on that, I think this is a good time that just kind of explain to the listeners what is it specifically, what your company does.
We're, I call it an unrestricted low voltage contractor. Okay. We take care, it's changed a little bit because of lighting. Okay.
Yeah.
With the electricians, it used to be anything under 90 volts, our license would allow. My license that I took here in Georgia was for unrestricted. There's 4 different levels of licensing. So I can do any of that technology. So they had it for
Oh,
a general where you can just pull cable. That's it. Then they
yeah.
had an alarm license and they have a networking license. So with the alarm and stuff, you can do the cameras and alarm systems. With the networking, it's only for, server racks, network cabling, things like that. With the unrestricted, allows you to do all of it. Okay. So
Right.
that's, it was an extra 10 questions on the test. So why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not,
Might
I'm
as
not
well
holding
just
myself
might
back.
as well just take them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So,
I mean, yeah.
yeah.
The
So,
you know,
with that being said, we're an unrestricted.
yeah,
We are unusual in the industry because I sometimes call myself a Renaissance man because I'm still one of those people. My technicians are those people where we can do anything. Okay, we literally do the fire alarms. We do a complete solution when we come into a property. Normally, we'll handle the individual systems if that's all they need. But like if we're doing a new build and we're 98% commercial, the 2% is normally people related to those commercial owners, friends, things like that, where we get it.
right.
We don't advertise them to the residential market, but it's part of business. So
Mm.
with that though, when we have a project that comes in, like we're doing an animal hospital, emergency animal hospital right now, we do
Yeah,
it all. So we've got the alarm system, we do the network cabling, we do all the AV in there. We're doing the cameras, the access control, on it. So we come in and our customers are used to us. So if there's any system that they got one phone call, that they
yeah,
need. Okay. So we kind of specialize in that too. And that allows us to at times to merge those systems into one unified system with different products that we know work together. So that's what we bring. That's what we do for the most part. But we also do. One of our biggest markets are HOAs. Okay, and with that, there's a lot of gated communities in the Atlanta area. So we do the automated gates, we do the call box, we actually build the gates. So like I said, it's a complete solution. We do all of it.
I mean, just by listening to you now, there's already a lot of value that I see what you guys, bring to the table. Out of your own words, what would you say is like the most significant value that your business bring to other businesses?
Honesty and directness. Um, I very quickly gain the trust of our customer because our customers become family and friends by the time we're done. I will be straightforward, and what I do is when I come in, I listen to them, I find out what their needs are, okay, and I put them into the product that is going to supply their needs, and not.
Yep.
One of the very big things I've learned through this is not to oversell. You got a product, we price it out to where we're profitable, and we are able to service it, okay, and everybody's happy on both ends. We
Yeah.
usually, when I'm pricing things out, we usually come in at the middle ground with pricing. Okay.
Got it.
I used to be the low guy, but then I started realizing, there's another level of product that just
Mm.
for that little bit more money, it gives you 10 times more capability. Okay, and the product is back longer. It's the manufacturers hold up longer. It's not that inexpensive product off the shelf that you can throw in and make a couple bucks.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not going to service you 10 years down the road. And
Yeah.
right now, I've literally got systems from the same manufacturer that I'm using now, okay, that have been in there 17, 18 years, and they're still using them, on the
Oh wow.
cameras and things like that, even on the access control. It's outdated.
Have you Yeah.
but you
But
know,
talking about that, right? Because you mentioned security, obviously market wise, earlier as well. Like from a, I mean, technology is always evolving, and I
yeah.
suppose obviously in security as well. What would you say, like, what's new in the security space, side of it from equipment, point of view? Are there any like proper move forward, advances specifically
The
to
AI function,
equipment?
and they got third-party companies that are even taking it another level with the AI on
Yeah,
that. That's huge. They're able to actually now go in and put in rules. So if this happens, and this happens, then send a notification or set a recording. That's big. Also, almost every part of our market is advancing. Okay, so there's new wireless communication protocols that have came out. There's the access control that is changing dramatically in many ways. So the credentials that you use to enter a property now or enter a door have changed in the way they do it, and then also the protocols that they use to communicate from their controllers to the door, okay,
yeah,
have changed. Okay, for us in the industry, it doesn't mean much to the end user, but the security aspect of it, it becomes encrypted at that point. Where in the
right.
past, that communication wasn't encrypted. You could intercept it if you knew what you're doing. Okay,
Yeah,
so that encryption level is grown on that. As far as credentials go, it's taken a dramatic. You used to be able to go. It used to be just a card. You remember it had the little mag stripe on it. You
yeah,
swiped
yeah.
it. Okay, haven't seen that in 15 years. So those are kind of gone. But
And
then you went into RFID, and that's where everything's kind of went with that, where it's just a chip and a card, and you present it up there like everybody knows, and they come in a fob format, a little disc, you keep on your keychain, or to the card that you have on your lanyard at your office or on your badge. You can use that. That has been the standard for decades. Okay, in a lot of ways.
right.
Now it's moved into Bluetooth apps on your phone. Okay, where you could, as you're
Yeah,
walking up to the door, you can hit the app and it opens it for you. Okay. The other where things are dramatically moving, especially for us, we work with our manufacturer on the access control directly. They've moved into our area, and we've actually
yeah,
become a preferred dealer with them direct, and we're the only one in Georgia with that manufacturer. But with their products, it moved into QR code. Okay, so with that, there's an app. You present it to the reader. It's got a little camera on it. Okay, and once you present that, you're in. Okay, that
right.
same manufacturer is a leader in biotechnology, which
Yeah,
we're moving into right now. It's like the direct point that things are going. We've got a school in near our office that it's a private Christian school. Okay,
yeah,
and the directors are tired of the kids losing the fobs. Okay, and presenting, when they're coming in. So what's the solution for that? Well, the readers that we've got read facial and palm vein. Okay, it's got an IR emitter that will actually read the veins in the palm, and
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So it
crazy.
what it yeah, yeah. It's the accuracy and the quickness at which it does it is
Yeah.
phenomenal. Like you literally put boop, boop, you're in. And what
My
that
word.
does is and that's another side of things that people are afraid of. Okay, is that whole bio? Hey, you got my face. It's in a database somewhere. You got my fingerprint. It's in a database
Mm.
somewhere. What people don't know is they're not actually taking that fingerprint or that palm um, imprint or your
Yeah.
face. What they're doing is they're measuring specific points within that criteria
Yeah.
and dropping it into an algorithm. Okay, it's
Right.
just a string line. Okay, and then that drops into the database. Imagine though you got 10,000 people and you're keeping their pictures of their fingerprint for 10,000 people within a system. That's a lot of data. Now, if you're
Yeah.
going to drop it right into an algorithm, that's a couple megs of data space. For 10,000 people. It's nothing. So that's where the manufacturers are heading to that. And I think that's one of, I know we're probably going to move into that in a couple of these other questions, But I think that's one of the most fearful things in our industry that people are having right now, is that misunderstanding of what the
Yeah.
technology does. Okay. But, in that they're losing um, the benefit of what those products will do and the price point is, you know, the church, I gave them the option of just doing fingerprint readers. Okay.
Yeah.
And with the controllers and stuff that we were going to have to upgrade to and all that, moving
Mm-hmm.
into the bio readers was within $3,000 on 30 units. Okay. It was within $3,000 of going into the bio and not having, in a way more functional product. So they
Right.
opted for that, you know, and those
Okay.
those products will still do the cards, they'll still do the pen
Yeah. Yeah.
pad, and all that function. But I think that's just one of the things.
Geez, that's it's fascinating. The what I wanted to get your opinion on is, if we can maybe just step a bit back and just look at
Yeah,
business in,
yeah,
holistically.
yeah,
I mean, you've been quite at it, on starting, companies and successfully leading companies and growing companies. I mean, just from you mentioned earlier. I mean, just that one business there, the exponential growth, right? In your opinion, Jason, what type of mindset would you say, is like really needed to be a successful founder of a company?
um passion. I think you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah,
And one thing I can tell you is, my lead technician had we were together in a company and that, working for a company. And then I was always that entrepreneur and had that passion for that and just, um, a drive to, control my own destiny with things.
yeah,
He wanted the same thing. It's just his mindset, his capabilities are tremendous on the actual installation and the way the product works and facilitating that side. He struggled dramatically on the business end.
mm,
So
mm,
the other side, what a lot of people think, or I want to be in business for myself, blah 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 blah. There's another. You have to not just have a passion for that, but you have to be very um, capable of the
yeah,
business side of it also. And you don't think about that when you're like, I just want to work for myself. But
yeah,
we've grown from, we went back and pulled our numbers. My wife is my partner in this company. Okay. And we
right,
went back and sat down and pulled our numbers from the day I started the company. Okay. She came in about middle of it. Okay. But it took off from there. You get a good, strong woman partner behind you. Okay. You're going to have the world.
yeah,
And I give everything to her for that. But we averaged about 30 to 40% growth every year from the
yeah.
from the start.
That's high.
Right.
That's
And
high.
the last 2 years, um, it is actually last year we had, I would say, probably closer to 60% growth, but that was at a point where I was able to bring on, you know, my lead tech, and we brought on my one of my other lead techs. We brought them in, and that's where we were able to get the scaling done. This year we hit a 45% growth. Okay. So this was honestly our first year that we hit the million mark on
Oh,
sale.
good.
Yeah. So,
That is
but
excellent.
with that, you got to, for people who are starting this, I would honestly say the business end, you can go out and do the work all day long. If you
Mm,
can't manage the finances and the customer relation with the invoicing and getting your money afterwards and turning that and
yeah.
understanding that side, you're going to struggle.
Mm,
You can do it up to a point, okay, on flying, but after that, you got to start understanding. So I really have no formal business management background. It's just running companies and being in there in the trenches for the last 35 years.
yeah.
Um, and I learned the hard way in so many ways.
Mm,
Now we actually have brought on a business coach, okay, 3 weeks ago, because we knew where we hit. If we want to go any further, we've got to set in procedures. We've got to set in it's a structure. to where we can set scalability, and then
Right.
from there too, people don't think about the whole aspect. I'm working for myself. If it grows and it gets to a point, you're managing the company when you get people in there working for you. Okay. But you think of yourself as an owner. You're not an owner. You're a manager. An owner is able to have the company work for itself. And then
Right.
they, on the top end of that, are making the decisions for growth, making the decisions for, where the company's going to go and direct that side of it. That is right now where my transition is happening. I
Got it.
actually just brought my oldest son in. He finally came back to the company after all his schooling and everything else. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey guys, I'm building this for y'all, but you're
Yeah.
not. I know you don't interested or what. Well, now they've came in because they've got the business side of things, and I'm transitioning him into my role at the moment, so I can
Excellent.
take that. But that's where people who are starting this, they gotta really process and think. There's way more to it than being able to put a camera system in.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you look at the long term of it, what do you want out of
Mm, mm,
that?
mm.
And if you're okay with that, with just that doing a system here or there, hey, you're enjoying it. I can tell you right now, since I made the transition this last time into my company, um, I enjoy going to work every day. I
Yeah.
enjoy seeing the growth. I enjoy um, building that camaraderie within the workplace. And when it was amazing, because my younger son works for us too. I've transitioned him in as a tech, trainee right now. He's
Right.
very close to getting out on his own.
Yeah.
But when I've walked into customers' places and they're with me, okay,
Yeah.
we walk out and they're like, I cannot believe the smiles and the joy that those people got when we walked in the door. Okay.
Yeah. That's
They
see. That's
they knew we were there
yeah.
to take care of them. They
You know
knew
that
whatever troubles they had were going to get
will
fixed.
get sorted out. The
Yep.
the and that actually latches onto what you mentioned earlier. Your relationships that you build with your clientele, right? The I can fully, Jason, understand why it is that your company with those percentages, and why it's growing. And I see a lot of that's got to do with your relationships, not just with the clients, but obviously your culture within your business, may it be family members or not. Um I can fully understand why you got that growth. So, but having said that, I need to thank you for coming on today. You've
Yeah.
provided such good golden nuggets, as I say, from the younger listeners out there wanting to get into the market. You've mentioned a couple of things there that I think there's a couple of notes taken today. So
Yeah.
I need to
It's been
thanks.
fun. I've enjoyed it. It's great.
Yeah, man. I so hope I can get you on again. This
Yeah.
has been
Anytime. Anytime. This is good.
this has
Because
been
that's the other thing too, is whoever's coming in, is this industry changes literally
Yeah,
day by
evolving.
day.
Yes,
It's day
and
by day. It's not a month. It's not a quarter. It's not a half year. It's not every year.
yeah,
If you're in it, it's every day. I've got new
every day.
manufacturers coming to me with new technologies, with new things. And to me, that was the exciting part, to be at the forefront of it and be ahead of the entire industry.
The tight
Yeah.
time. Tell me,
Yeah.
Jason, just before I let you go, where can they get hold of you guys?
Yeah, well, we have our website at Blue Sky Systems LLC.com.
Yeah,
We're on Facebook with Blue Sky Systems LLC. Um, that's about it. Our phone numbers and address and everything are on our website. But yeah, if anybody has any questions or interest, let me know. I'm always about growing our industry. So if
mm,
any
mm,
listeners have a question to it, or any of that, I'm
yeah,
there to
yeah,
answer it. And there's no back to that. I'm not gonna try and sell them or anything. I want our industry seriously needs new people.
new people.
It's grown so much that there's not enough.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the good side to us for that is we're able to raise our prices because we're needed more. Okay,
yeah,
that technology has become life at this point.
At this
So
point.
the backside of that is getting to the customers in a timely manner and keeping them happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
At one point 2 summers ago, we were scheduled almost 2 months out.
Wow.
And our customers were not happy, but we're sitting here. I'm like, honestly, we kind of got to a point. Okay, if I'm gonna work overtime, I'm like, okay, if you want us there, it's emergency rates, it's double. And we'll be there. We'll move you
Yeah.
up. But if it's that big of an emergency, but we've got to take priority into security measures. If there's something that's causing a security issue, we have to take priority to that before we can come over and put your network.
Oh, lovely.
So, yeah.
But Jason, thank you so much, and all the best to your company. And this was fun. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate
Take
it.
care.
Have a great
Bye
day.
now.